Instructor Kixrin's mandibles clicked rapidly as he reached the most critical section of Deathworld Survival 301. And now, cadets, we examine conditions so lethal that exposure exceeding 30 seconds results in 98% mortality across all known species. Sorry, a voice interrupted from the back row. Could you back up a second? Every head in the lecture hall turned. The human cadet, Quinn, according to her nameplate, had raised her hand with an expression of genuine confusion. Kixrin's antennae flattened against his carapace. In 20 cycles of teaching, no one had ever interrupted this section. Cadet, this material has been verified by— No, I get that, Quinn said, leaning forward in her seat. But you just described my childhood backyard. The lecture hall went silent. Excuse me? Kixrin's translator implant stuttered. The part about gravitational variance causing skeletal microfractures. Quinn gestured at the holographic display. That's just called running, where I'm from. And the atmospheric density fluctuations, we call that weather. Kids play outside in that. A Glixian cadet in the front row made a choking sound. Play? You're saying juveniles were exposed to— Yeah, all the time, Quinn said, nodding enthusiastically. My little brother used to spend hours outside, built forts, climbed stuff. Normal kid things. Kixrin felt his respiratory spiracles constrict. He activated his emergency comm link with a trembling manipulator. This is Instructor Kixrin. I need immediate consultation with xenobiology. Priority Alpha. Instructor, are you actually saying this human survived conditions that would kill us? Asked a Velnari student, her bioluminescent patterns flickering with distress. Quinn looked around the hall, clearly bewildered. Survived? I mean, yeah, I guess. But so did literally everyone I know. It's just— Normal? Normal, Kixrin repeated flatly. He pulled up the next section of his presentation, his hands moving automatically while his mind reeled. Perhaps we should continue. The next category involves— Oh, wow! Seasonal temperature variations. Quinn's face lit up with recognition. Yeah, we get those. Summer and winter, right? Temperature swings of like, what? She squinted at the display. 60 degrees standard? Yeah, that sounds about right. 60 degrees, Kixrin said slowly. Without environmental protection, would cause cellular breakdown in— We just wore different clothes, Quinn said, shrugging. Coats in winter, shorts in summer. My dad used to complain about the heating bills. A Zetherian cadet stood up abruptly. I need to leave. Sit down, Cadet Nixil, Kixrin snapped, though he couldn't blame the student. His own instinct was to evacuate. Cadet Quinn, are you claiming that your species regularly exposes their young to conditions that require military-grade environmental suits? Military-grade? Quinn laughed. No, we just go outside. I used to bike to school. My friends and I would hang out at the park. Sometimes we'd go camping on weekends. Camping, Kixrin repeated. His mandibles had gone numb. You voluntarily placed yourselves in unprotected wilderness environments. Well, yeah, it's fun. Quinn looked around at the horrified faces surrounding her. Wait, do you guys not do that? The Glixian cadet's gill slits were fluttering rapidly. My homeworld's wilderness requires hazard teams and emergency extraction protocols. For the entire planet, added Nixil, who hadn't sat back down. Our cities are the only safe zones. Quinn's confusion deepened. But how do you have parks, or hiking trails, or— We don't, Kixrin said. He pulled up his teaching assistant interface with shaking manipulators. Computer, display Earth's planetary classification. The hologram shifted, and gasps echoed through the hall. Planetary designation. Earth classification, Deathworld. Class 12, survival rating. Unsuitable for colonization. Military designation, extreme hazard. Avoid. Quinn squinted at the display. That seems harsh. I mean, yeah, we get some bad storms sometimes, but— Bad storms? Kixrin's voice had risen to a pitch that activated the hall's acoustic dampeners. Your planet is classified 3 levels above the threshold for survivable with advanced technology. Huh, Quinn said. Is that why the orientation packet said I'd need atmospheric acclimation? I thought that was weird. The air here feels really thin. The air here, Kixrin said slowly, is optimized for comfort across 200 species. It represents the galactic standard. Oh, Quinn paused. So you're saying my normal is everyone else's nightmare? Yes. The word burst from Kixrin's mandibles. That is precisely what I am saying. Quinn sat back in her seat, processing this. Well, that's going to make this course kind of awkward. The door to the lecture hall burst open. Commander Duxian, head of Academy Survival Programs, strode in with 2 xenobiology specialists flanking him. Instructor Kixrin, I received your priority alert. What's the emergency? Kixrin gestured weakly at Quinn. Commander, this cadet just informed the class that everything in our Deathworld survival curriculum describes her species' normal childhood. Commander Duxian's crest flattened completely. He turned to look at Quinn, who waved awkwardly. All of it? He asked quietly. I'm only on Section 3, Kixrin said. But so far, yes, all of it. The xenobiology specialists immediately activated their scanning equipment, moving toward Quinn with scientific fascination overriding their obvious terror. Cadet, Commander Duxian said carefully, I need you to understand something. The conditions Instructor Kixrin describes in this course represent the absolute threshold of survivability. These scenarios are used to prepare special operations forces for the most dangerous missions in known space. Quinn nodded. Okay, sure. But you keep showing me pictures of places that look like Minnesota. What? Commander Duxian asked. Is Minnesota? It's a state in a region on Earth, Quinn explained. My grandparents live there. I used to visit every summer. One of the xenobiology specialists looked up from his scanner. Commander, her baseline physiological readings are... This can't be right. Her bone density is 3 times standard. Her atmospheric tolerance range is... He paused, recalibrating his equipment. This has to be a calibration error. It's not, Kixrin said quietly. Computer, continue to Section 4 of the curriculum. The hologram shifted to display a new set of conditions. Before Kixrin could begin explaining, Quinn raised her hand again. Oh, she said brightly. That's just rain. Commander Duxian stared at the holographic display, then at Quinn, then back at the display. Rain, he repeated slowly. That falls at terminal velocity with enough force to cause impact trauma. Well, yeah, Quinn said. Sometimes it's a light drizzle. Sometimes it's a downpour. You just use an umbrella if it's really coming down. An umbrella. The xenobiology specialist's scanner clattered to the floor. A fabric barrier against kinetic projectiles. They're pretty sturdy, Quinn offered helpfully. Kixrin advanced to the next section with mounting dread. Cadets, gravitational stress levels exceeding 1.2 standard result in... Oh, Earth's gravity is higher than this, Quinn interrupted again. That explains why everything feels so floaty here. I kept wondering why I could jump so high during physical assessments. Nixil backed away from Quinn's seat. You grew up in higher gravity? I guess. I mean, I never thought about it. Quinn shrugged. My little sister's on the gymnastics team back home. She does flips and stuff. Is that weird? Your sister, Commander Duxian said carefully, performs acrobatic maneuvers in higher than standard gravity. Yeah, she's pretty good. Won regionals last year. The commander activated his comm unit. I need Dean Juxith in Lecture Hall 5 immediately, and bring the full xenobiology department. Kixrin continued numbly. Section 6 covers exposure to stellar radiation without atmospheric shielding. You mean sunlight? Quinn asked. Yeah, we get that. You're supposed to wear sunscreen if you're out for a while, but honestly, I usually forgot and just got a sunburn. Sunburn, one of the xenobiology specialists whispered. She describes radiation damage as a minor inconvenience. It's annoying, Quinn admitted. Itches like crazy for a few days, but then you peel and you're fine. Several alien cadets were now clustered at the far side of the lecture hall. The Glixian student had activated his personal emergency beacon. "Turn that off, cadet," Commander Duxian snapped. "There's no immediate threat." "Sir, with respect, she just described surviving cellular radiation damage as annoying." Quinn looked hurt. "I'm not threatening anyone. I'm just sitting here." "We know, Cadet Quinn," the commander said, though his crest remained flattened. "Please continue, instructor." Kixren's mandibles clicked frantically. "Atmospheric pressure variance causing—" "Oh, altitude stuff." Quinn brightened. "Yeah, I went to summer camp in the mountains once. Your ears pop and it's harder to breathe until you get used to it. We spent 2 weeks hiking and rock climbing." "Rock climbing," Kixren repeated. "It was fun. I fell once and broke my wrist, but..." Every alien in the room flinched. "You broke a structural bone?" The xenobiology specialist grabbed his scanner again. "That should have required reconstructive surgery and tissue regeneration." "Nah, they just put it in a cast. I was back to normal in 6 weeks." Quinn paused. "Well, my mom made me sit out from soccer for the rest of the season, which was super annoying." "Soccer," Commander Duxian said faintly. "It's a sport. You run around and kick a ball." "You engaged in high-impact physical activity," the specialist said, his scanner beeping frantically, "while recovering from structural skeletal damage. I mean, after the cast came off, yeah." The lecture hall doors opened again. Dean Juxith entered, followed by 6 additional xenobiology specialists and 3 medical doctors. "Commander, your message indicated a Class 1 xenobiological anomaly." "Dean," Commander Duxian said quietly, "we have a human cadet who describes our advanced Deathworld survival curriculum as her normal childhood." Dean Juxith's respiratory slits sealed completely. "All of it?" "We're only on Section 6, Kixren said. "She's already identified rain, seasonal variations, gravitational stress, stellar radiation, pressure changes, and healing from structural bone damage." "My brothers broke bones too," Quinn added. "It's pretty common. Kids heal fast." "Kids," Dean Juxith repeated. "Multiple human juveniles, all surviving these conditions." "Well, yeah, I mean, that's just growing up." The dean pulled up his datapad with trembling appendages. "Computer, display Earth's updated threat assessment." The hologram flickered. "Planetary designation. Earth classification, extinction level Deathworld survival rating. Unsurvivable recommendation, quarantine indefinitely." Quinn squinted at the display. "That still seems really harsh." The lecture hall had transformed into an emergency command center. Academy Commandant Vixelu stood at the front, flanked by the Galactic Survival Institute's top 3 experts. 12 xenobiology specialists lined the walls, their equipment creating a symphony of distressed beeping. "Cadet Quinn," Commandant Vixelu said, her voice steady despite her quivering sensory tendrils. "I need you to describe a typical day from your childhood. Start from when you woke up." Quinn shifted uncomfortably under the weight of so many stares. Okay. I'd wake up around 6:30, get dressed, eat. Breakfast. Stop. Dr. Yilnaz, chief xenobiologist, held up a manipulator. "You consumed nutrients immediately upon waking, without allowing your digestive system to stabilize from dormancy." Yeah? I was usually pretty hungry." Quinn looked confused. "Is that bad?" "For most species, introducing complex proteins during the metabolic transition period causes severe distress," Dr. Yilnaz explained, his scanner working overtime. "Continue." "Right. So I'd grab my backpack and walk to the bus stop." "Walk," interrupted another expert. "In open atmosphere, unshielded." "It was like 3 blocks, Quinn said. "Sometimes I'd bike if the weather was nice." "Bike?" Commandant Vixelu queried her database. "A primitive kinetic transport device powered by leg muscles. Yeah, it was faster than walking. You propelled yourself at speed through uncontrolled environments," Dean Juxith said slowly. "What if you encountered hostile fauna?" Quinn laughed. I mean, sometimes dogs would bark, but mostly they were friendly. My neighbor had this huge German shepherd that would run alongside me. His name was Zeus. You had regular contact with a predator species large enough to warrant a designation name. Dr. Yilnas's scanner emitted a sound like a scream. Zeus wasn't a predator. He was a pet, Quinn said. We had a dog, too, and a cat. My friend down the street had 3 cats and a rabbit. The specialists began frantically conferring. Domesticated apex predators, one muttered, living in close proximity to juveniles. They weren't apex predators, they were fluffy, Quinn protested. Continuing, Commandant Vixalou said firmly. You reached this bus stop. Then what? Bus picked us up, took us to school, sat through classes until lunch, then more classes. Then after school, I'd usually have soccer practice or just hang out with friends. Define hang out, Dean Juxith requested. You know, go to someone's house, play video games, maybe ride bikes to the park, normal stuff. The park, Kixren said. The unshielded wilderness area you mentioned earlier. Yeah, there were swings and a baseball field. Sometimes we'd just throw a frisbee around. Dr. Yilnas looked up from a rapidly scrolling display. I'm cross-referencing her activities with our tactical database. Throwing objects at velocity. That's combat training. Rapid directional changes while running. Evasion protocols. Sustained cardiovascular exertion. Endurance conditioning. It was just playing, Quinn said weakly. You were conducting military-grade physical conditioning, the doctor corrected. And you called it recreation. What did your parental units do? Commandant Vixalou asked. When you violated safety protocols. Violated? Oh, you mean when I got in trouble? Quinn thought for a moment. I'd get grounded mostly. Once I had to write an apology letter to our neighbor after I accidentally broke their window playing baseball. Grounded? Yeah, like not allowed to go out with friends. Had to stay inside for a week. The room went silent. Your punishment for dangerous behavior, Commandant Vixalou said slowly, was forced protection inside a secured structure. I mean, when you put it that way. And you considered this a punishment? Well, yeah. I wanted to be outside with my friends. Dr. Yilnas staggered backward. She wanted to return to the hazardous environment. The protected area was considered restrictive. What about extreme weather events? Asked one of the survival experts. Surely you had emergency shelter protocols. Oh, you mean like tornado warnings? Quinn said. Yeah, we'd go to the basement until it passed. Once our neighborhood lost power for 3 days after a big storm. We just used candles and played board games. Tornado. Kixren pulled up the meteorological database. Rotational wind phenomenon classified as a tactical level atmospheric weapon. It missed our house, Quinn said. Hit the next town over, though. That was pretty scary. The next town over, Dean Juxith repeated. You continued inhabiting a zone where weapon-grade atmospheric events were expected? Well, we lived there, Quinn said simply. Where else would we go? Commandant Vixalou's tendrils had gone completely rigid. Computer emergency query. How many humans currently exist? The display flickered. Current human population, 8.2 billion. 8 billion, the Commandant whispered. 8 billion individuals, all raised in these conditions. All of them, Dr. Yilnas confirmed, staring at his scanner in horror. Every single one survived Deathworld childhood as standard development. Quinn raised her hand tentatively. So, should I keep going? Because I haven't even gotten to summer vacation yet. Every alien in the room made a sound of existential dread. Commandant Vixalou raised a manipulator for silence. The room's chaos subsided into tense stillness. Cadet Quinn, I need absolute clarity. Everything you've described, the gravity, the weather, the radiation, the predators, this is standard across your entire planet? Quinn nodded. I mean, it varies by region. Some places are hotter, some are colder. My grandparents' place in Minnesota gets way more snow than where I grew up. And my aunt lives in Arizona where it barely rains at all. Variations, Dr. Yilnas muttered, updating his database. Multiple climate zones, all inhabited. Yeah, people live pretty much everywhere, Quinn said. Except Antarctica, mostly. That's too cold even for us. Too cold even for us, Kixren repeated, implying everywhere else is acceptable. Well, yeah, cities, towns, farms, people are kind of everywhere. Quinn paused. Oh, and my cousin does research in Antarctica, actually. So I guess people are even there. Commandant Vixlu pulled up a holographic globe of Earth. Computer, highlight human population centers. The sphere lit up like a star-going nova. Dots covered every continent, clustered along coastlines, spreading across plains, dotting mountains, filling valleys. Blessed void, breathed Dean Juxith. They've colonized the entire planetary surface. It's not colonizing, we just live there, Quinn said. Where else would we be? Underground, suggested one specialist. In sealed habitats, in orbital stations where conditions can be controlled. Quinn laughed. Some people live in bunkers, I guess. Mostly we just build houses and deal with whatever weather happens. Deal with, Commandant Vixelu said flatly. You deal with tactical-grade atmospheric phenomena. I mean, you board up windows for hurricanes. You have earthquake kits in California. You know not to go outside during lightning storms. Quinn shrugged. It's just common sense. Common sense? Dr. Yilnaz was typing frantically. She's describing disaster preparedness as basic childhood education. Because it is? Quinn looked around the room. Don't you guys teach kids what to do in emergencies? Our emergencies, Kixren said quietly, don't occur with seasonal regularity. Understanding dawned on Quinn's face. Oh wow. You guys really do live on easy mode. Easy mode, repeated the Commandant. Yeah, like, my little sister is 13 and she already knows wilderness survival stuff from Girl Scouts. Can navigate with a compass, start a fire, purify water, basic first aid. Quinn's expression shifted to concern. She's tougher than me, honestly. Kids these days are intense. Tougher than you, Dean Juxith said, meaning your species is producing increasingly resilient juveniles. I guess, my generation was supposedly soft compared to my parents. They didn't have air conditioning in every building growing up. Air conditioning. Dr. Yilnaz looked ready to molt from stress. Artificial climate control is considered a luxury indicator on your world. Well, yeah, it's nice to have, but not required. Commandant Vixelu sat down heavily. Let me understand this completely. Your species produces billions of individuals, all raised without environmental protection, all surviving conditions we classify as lethal, and you consider this normal child development. When you put it that way, it sounds dramatic, Quinn protested. Cadet, what happens when humans receive actual military training? Quinn thought about it. Boot camp is supposed to be really hard? My uncle was in the military and he said it was tough but manageable. Manageable, the Commandant repeated. Taking Deathworld natives and further enhancing their capabilities is manageable. I haven't done it yet, so I can't really say. You haven't needed to, Kixren said suddenly. That's the point. This entire curriculum, everything we teach to create elite survival specialists, you already know. Not because you were trained, but because you simply grew up. Quinn's eyes widened. Wait, so you're saying this whole class is basically pointless for me? Worse than pointless, Dean Juxith said. It's remedial. We're teaching you things you mastered as a juvenile. Oh, Quinn sat back. That's actually kind of disappointing. I thought this was supposed to be challenging. The room erupted in overlapping voices. Commandant Vixlu silenced them with a sharp gesture. Immediate protocol revision. All human cadets are to be reassessed. Standard training curricula are clearly inadequate. Inadequate is an understatement, Dr. Yilnaz muttered. We're teaching apex predators how to survive in paradise. 3 days later, Quinn stood in the Academy's course registration office, reviewing her updated schedule on a datapad. Behind the desk, the registrar, a nervous Beluvian named Jixna, kept a careful distance. Your survival course requirement has been waived, Jixna said, mandibles clicking rapidly. Commandant's orders. You'll need an elective replacement. Quinn scrolled through available options. What about this one? Advanced Environmental Adaptation 401. That sounds interesting. Jixna's compound eyes widened. Cadet, that course is considered one of our most challenging. It takes place on Beluvis Prime, barely habitable even for my species. What makes it challenging? The gravity is 1.1 standard. Atmospheric pressure fluctuates with weather patterns, and temperatures vary seasonally by up to 30 degrees. Quinn stared at her. That's supposed to be advanced training. It's classified as a paradise world, Jixna said defensively. But the conditions require significant adaptation. It sounds like spring break, Quinn muttered, but selected the course anyway. Okay, registered. What else do I need? Jixna consulted her terminal. You're assigned to Combat Training Unit 9. However, she hesitated. 17 cadets have submitted transfer requests since your survival class incident. They've asked to be moved to units without human participants. Oh, Quinn's face fell. Are they scared of me? Terrified is more accurate, Jixna admitted gently. But it's not personal. They simply recognize they can't compete with your baseline capabilities. Down the hall, Commandant Vixalu sat in her office, composing the most difficult report of her career. Her tendrils trembled as she finalized the text. To Galactic Military Command. Human Integration Assessment, Classification, Priority Alpha. After extensive evaluation, this office recommends immediate revision of all human recruitment and training protocols. Initial assessment severely underestimated human baseline capabilities. Human cadets possess survival skills exceeding our most elite specialists, acquired through standard childhood development on Earth, now reclassified as Universal Deathworld, Class Apex. Current training curricula are inadequate. Human cadets require specialized advanced programs, as standard courses provide no challenge to individuals raised in extinction-level conditions. Furthermore, psychological evaluation indicates humans consider their homeworld normal, and protected academy environments boring. Retention may require significantly more challenging assignments. Recommendation: create separate human training track. Current integration model fails to account for species that views our tactical grade hazards as recreational activities. She paused, then added a final line. Personal note: Cadet Quinn asked today why we don't have real weather at the academy. When pressed, she explained she misses thunderstorms. Our meteorology department confirms thunderstorms are classified as area denial weapons in 17 systems. We are not prepared for this species. Vixalu signed the report and transmitted it, knowing it would cause chaos at command. But truth was necessary, however disturbing. Outside, Quinn walked across the academy grounds toward her next class, datapad in hand. The artificial sunlight felt weak, the temperature-controlled air too still, the perfectly maintained gravity too light. She missed home, missed real rain, missed the weight of Earth's pull, missed seasons that actually felt different. But the academy was interesting in its own way. Everyone here seemed amazed by the most basic things. It was kind of flattering, actually. Her communicator chimed. A message from Kixren. Cadet Quinn, please report to my office. Need to discuss your final project. Considering your background, standard assignments seem inappropriate. Thinking something more challenging. Quinn grinned. Finally, someone who understood she needed an actual challenge. She replied quickly, On my way, instructor. Looking forward to it. Behind her, a group of Zetharian cadets gave her a wide berth, whispering among themselves about the human who thought death worlds were daycare centers. Quinn didn't notice. She was already thinking about what challenging might actually mean at an institution that considered Minnesota unsurvivable. This was going to be interesting.